Hey guys, Johnny Crims 2000 here, and welcome to my E3 PlayStation 4 reaction video, personal blog, whatever you want to call this. I did one for the Xbox One conference. If you want to know how I felt about that, there's going to be a link in the video at some point, either right now or at the end, depending on how I do things. But anyway, this is about PlayStation 4, and I had already done a PlayStation 4 reaction video to when it was first revealed way back in February, so if you haven't checked that out, some of the same feelings I felt about that hold true about that, especially for like the controller and stuff like that in some of the games. But anyway, here we go. I've listed off some of the main points. If you want to go, if you want to know how I felt about them, then here we go. There's a lot to cover, so if I don't talk too much about a certain game or a certain aspect, then I'm sorry, but I'm trying not to make this thing go to like 40 minutes, kind of like how my Dragon Ball Absalon video did. So here we go. First things first, they talked first off about the PlayStation Vita. Now, I'm not a PlayStation Vita owner, so I don't really have much to say about it. In my opinion, the PlayStation Vita is just, you know, if I'm gonna get like a portable, I'm gonna get the Nintendo 3DS first. That's just the kind of gamer I am. I have a DS. I'm happy with it. I'm not that much of a portable gamer, so but you know, in between the PS Vita and the 3DS, I'm gonna get the 3DS first. So I didn't have much to say about the PS Vita, so there you go, PS Vita. If you still like it, then there's gonna be a lot more support for it. They did place a higher emphasis on connectivity with the PS4, so there may be some things with future games that will make use of the PS Vita a lot more than it is now. So if you have a PS Vita, keep it. If you're a fan of PlayStation 4, if you plan on getting a PlayStation 4, I suggest you keep your PS Vita because it looks like there's going to be more in the way, you know, in the future as far as how to use the like the connectivity between the two. Next up, we moved up to PlayStation 3 stuff, and it really just listed off some of the games that were coming to the PlayStation 3. Now, obviously, the PlayStation 3 was not the main thing that was talked about, so some of the stuff did kind of go by a little bit quickly. So I'm just going to list off all the games that they mentioned. It was The Last of Us, The Puppeteer, Rain, Beyond Two Souls, Batman Arkham Origins, and Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, obviously, in my opinion, all of them look pretty legit, so I'll just talk a little bit about each one. The Last of Us, obviously, it's a big one coming up. It's I think it's coming out this Friday, I think. Honestly, if you want my personal, honest opinion, I'm not looking forward to it all that much because, you know, if you heard my reaction video to the Xbox One, one of my biggest complaints about gaming nowadays is just that everything in its mother, every game in its mother has to have like a freaking gun. It's like it's always a shooter game. Like it always has to have guns, no originality whatsoever when it comes to that kind of stuff. You know, as long as you have a gun, you have a blockbuster game. And in my opinion, that's kind of sad because it just shows how kind of dried up creativity has been in recent gaming, where it's, you know, all you have to do is like make a compelling storyline, which it doesn't even have anything to do with the gameplay, add a gun, and then people will buy it. That's sort of how I feel with The Last of Us, honestly. The only big difference is that now apparently it's like it just looks better cinematically, which, as I said before, to me, I could care less about. So, Last of Us, I know they've already said that it's like very innovative and, you know, it's looking like a game of the year kind of thing. But, you know, I'll try it, but personally I'm not looking forward to it. Next up is Puppeteer, which I honestly thought it looked pretty good. That's the kind of games that I go for, you know, creativity. I can't remember much what it's about, but it just looks really cool. Honestly, it looked like an online PSN title, but I think it's like it's like an actual game, which is even better because I think it's like it looked like it was like a 2D. No, I'm thinking about the wrong thing. Anyway, Puppeteer, looking awesome. Got my vote. I'm probably gonna get that. Next up is Rain. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to creativity. I have not heard of anything about Rain, but just from the little footage that I saw, it looked very interesting. Basically, you play like this ghost or something, and you're like, the little footage that it showed, it was like this ghost kid, which I'm assuming is a ghost. And he was out in the street, and it was raining, and you could see him. You could see his self, I guess, transparent, but like the way that the rain was dropping, you could see his outline of his body. And I'm assuming it's a ghost, and I can't wait to see more of that. I may look into it a little bit more, because honestly, that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. You know, whoever thought that you know, I never thought that they could make like an actual game out of something like that. It's something as creative as that. So that's what I'm looking for. That's what I like. You know, creativity. Don't just put, like, I swear to God, like if they put a gun in this kid's hand, I quit. Like I quit gaming. Next up is Beyond Two Souls, who, you know, the big thing about that was Karen Page is a part of that. And honestly, this is like the big, you know, this is like the biggest example of what I mean by, you know, like I just do not care about a game if it's like all cinematics. And honestly, this just looks like one big cinematic after another. I'm pretty sure, I've heard somewhere that this is like the spiritual successor to L.A. Noire, which at first they were going to make like a proper sequel to L.A. Noire, but it just didn't turn out that way. Like it wasn't as successful as they wanted it to be, so they ended up scrapping it and making like they made a sequel to it, but it was like a spiritual sequel, so it's not tied to L.A. Noire. So if you know, so assuming it's like if you heard it was bad, then okay, L.A. Noire is bad, but this isn't L.A. Noire. It's Beyond, what's it called? Beyond Two Souls, and it has Karen Page in it. Completely different. But Beyond Two Souls is coming out for PlayStation 3 by the at least before the end of the year. I don't care when. I'm not getting it. Next up is Batman Arkham Origins and Grand Theft Auto 5, both of which are obviously going to be awesome. And just a quick note from here is that they mentioned that the PlayStation 3 versions of these was going to come out with exclusive content. Arkham Origins is going to come with DLC. Like I know one of them was like the 1960s Batman skin, 1970s, I can't remember which year. And then Grand Theft Auto 5, if you are crazy enough to pay $300, you can get it with a headset, which honestly, no. Especially if it's like Beats by Dre. Like honestly, they're just headsets. Like unless you're a big time music producer, you don't need them. Alright, come on, let's be honest. So, but either way, I am getting the games. Next up, on to actual PlayStation 4 stuff. They debuted the design of the console, and honestly, you know, there was like a lot of jokes like, oh, it's just two PS2s, you know, on top of each other. But honestly, I thought it was pretty sleek. You know, I like the design of it. As strange as it sounds, it doesn't look to be, well, I mean, I could have a complete perspective fail, but it didn't look to me like it was very, very huge. At least not as huge as the Xbox One combined with the Kinect 2.0, whatever it's being called now. So I like the design. The guy who actually designed the console, the look for the console, actually came out. Forgot his name, sorry. But you know, I congratulate the dude. I thought, you know, it looks nice. It looks, you know, dare I say it, it looks darn sexy. But anyway, on to the games. First, we had the Order 1886, which looked cool. It's like a period piece, obviously, like 1886. In that time frame, it looked like it was going to be some cool new action game and stuff like that I was going behind. And guess what happened? They pulled out the guns, so now it's just going to be just another shooter. So I mean, granted, it only, I think it was only like I don't think it actually showed any gameplay footage, but just because just by having guns, it's all like it already, you know, it's like oh, guns, okay. You already lost me there. So you know what? I mean, it may end up being a good game, but the Order 1886. It's gonna have guns. Next up, Killzone Shadowfall. I'm not a big Killzone fan because guess what? It's another shooter. So if you are a Killzone fan, you know, it looks cool. It looks kind of cool. It has some little gimmicks here and there. I don't play Killzone at all, but it does have some things that I thought were a little bit interesting at least. But again, it's a shooter, so I honestly can't be that excited for a game. I don't care if the Killzone 3 or whatever, the one before, was the most acclaimed game last year. As long as it's a shooter, with me, with Johnny Crims 2000, if you want my honest opinion, it just can't get that good. Because it's like, if you played one shooter, you've played them all. So that's that. Next up is Infamous Second Son, which actually showed up in the PlayStation 4 reveal back in February. But this was actually one of the games that I missed out on because I had to go take care of some stuff on it, and you know, I couldn't just pause the game or pause the stream. Sorry. So this was actually the first time that I was introduced to Infamous Second Son, and to be quite honest, I'm very excited about this game. Again, I haven't played any of the Infamous games. My PlayStation 3 library is not that great, to be quite honest. It's not that in-depth. Infamous is one of those games that I just haven't gotten the chance to play, either 1 or 2. So looking at this, I'm just like completely, you know, I've never been introduced to the Infamous series. I know somewhat of it. You're like some sort of superhero. You can correct me if I'm wrong in the comment sections. I know you will. This one, just from a complete, you know, from the perspective of somebody who's never played any Infamous games, this game looks like Second Son, and it may be the case with all, you know, the previous 2 titles, but again, I haven't played them. But this game, what they showed off, it just looks like you're some kind of superhero. And if you've seen any of my stuff from my blog, rather my Tumblr and my Twitter account, you know how much I love my superheroes. Can't wait to go see Man of Steel tomorrow. Whoop whoop, midnight premiere. But anyway, Infamous Second Son looks awesome, mainly because he has like these fire powers, and it really reminded me of the Human Torch from the Fantastic Four. And honestly, we haven't had a good, we haven't had a Fantastic Four game where you can play as the Human Torch, where you can really just let loose. And honestly, Infamous Second Son looks like it's kind of like the closest thing we'll get for a while, unless, you know, until Marvel finally decides to give the Human Torch his own game, which, you know, it's not looking that likely. Fantastic Four, unfortunately, are not that popular, which is kind of sad because I like them. Wouldn't mind playing as Human Torch. Anyway, next up is Knack, which was another game that was shown off at the February reveal for the PlayStation 4. I mentioned what I thought about it then. If you want my opinion on it, you can go back. The only new thing that I can say about Knack is that, good God, the guy has a deep voice. Like, I did not expect this little itty-bitty thing to have such a deep voice. Just imagine if Mario finally decided to talk and he was just like, "It's-a me, Mario." You know, and you can kind of see how thrown off I was. But yeah, Knack, it still looks to be kind of interesting. Not that great, but it's still creative nonetheless, which, you know, I like. I love creativity. Next up is the Dark Sorcerer, which was basically just like a little demo reel, just showing off the power of the graphics of the PlayStation 4. And initially, I wasn't going to say anything because it's, you know, it's just a tech, it's just a text demo, just showing off how realistic and stuff the PlayStation 4 can handle its graphics and stuff like that. But honestly, I was very impressed, and it was very humorous. Apparently, they were going to show off the full, I think, 12-minute technical demo during E3, which I haven't checked out. I don't really plan to. I got all I need from that little bit of clip that they showed during this conference. But yeah, I was very impressed. The graphics actually looked pretty freaking amazing, and I could totally see what they meant by, you can now see like feelings and emotions and stuff like that just by the actions. They're a lot more realistic, if you can believe that, since the last generation, and I was really impressed. But there you go, Dark Sorcerer, not a game, just a demo, but I figured I'd just throw it out there. I was impressed. It was a good laugh, a good chuckle. Next up, we have a whole host of independent games, which, you know, indie games, as they're called, for the cool people out there. And honestly, I decided to mention this because I think it's amazing that PlayStation 4 is, you know, being so good with their independent games. Honestly, you know, truthfully, I haven't played all that many indie games just because, you know, I don't have the money to keep buying these things. And you know, I'm big on Xbox Live, and you know, you have to buy Xbox Live points to get most of the games on there. And because you can't use your credit card, I can't just buy a game that's $2. No, I have to buy the $20 gift card that has the Microsoft points to get that $2 game first. And honestly, I've just never, you know, brought myself down to buying the whole $20 card just to buy the $2 game. So I've missed out on a lot of indie games, unfortunately. I am making an effort to play more indie games lately, so, but, you know, anyways, this is about PlayStation 4. They did have an entire, like, part where they were just showing non-stop indie games. One of them was Transistor, which is from the developers that made Bastion, which I have heard it's a really good game. It's a 3/4, it has like a weird 3/4 kind of like top-down view. You can kind of think of it as like Sonic 3D Blast, if you can remember that. Oh god, 3D Blast. No, it was an alright game. But that's it. I don't have anything else to say. I don't know what kind of game it is. I don't, you know, so I'm sorry if, you know, if you wanted me to say something about that, but I don't know what kind of game it is. The independent games that they did show off, though, looked amazing, including Oddworld, which is like a remake of the first game, which I'm really looking forward to. But yeah, give it up for Sony for, giving indie games such a big spotlight. Really proud of them for that, actually. Anyway, next up we had an announcement by Square Enix, and I was very, very surprised when I first saw this because holy crap, they had 2 trailers. I was only expecting one, Square Enix, and they announced at first it was a trailer for Final Fantasy Versus 12 or 13, was it? I can't remember. And then it looked freaking amazing. I'm a fan of Final Fantasy, but I've never been that much of a fan, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not that big into like turn-based RPGs. I skipped 13, and so I don't know. I heard it was bad, but who knows? I don't know anything about 13. But this game, holy crap, it looked amazing. And then at first the title was Final Fantasy Versus 13, and then it just like skipped all that, and it just changed to Final Fantasy 15. So I'm guessing that this is now officially Final Fantasy 15. I'm not sure how they're doing it. I guess we're skipping 14. I think 14 is supposed to be something else, but oh wait, no, 14 is that online game that nobody liked, right? Am I right? You guys, yeah, you guys will probably correct me. But yeah, Final Fantasy 15 looks amazing. I think it looks cool for somebody that's not that big into like traditional JRPG turn-based RPG games. This game really got me impressed, so I can't wait to get my hands on that. At least give it a try. It looked amazing. And next up, we had another surprise trailer, and guess what? Kingdom Hearts 3 is finally coming out, which I am really freaking happy about because I love the Kingdom Hearts games. I have been waiting for 3 for such a long time. I have Kingdom Hearts 1. I played some of Kingdom Hearts 2. I have 356 over a half, however the crap you say that, for the DS. I haven't finished that one. I honestly couldn't get that into it. I don't know any other games because they're on every other console, like portable console and non-portable console, that I can't keep up with all of them. So now we're finally getting back to just the basics, like no more weird games, no more recoded and 352 over 1/4 times a billion, pi square, unreal number. I don't know. Just Kingdom Hearts 3, damn it. Like, we finally got it, and it looked amazing, and honestly, I just got, like, the biggest, like, nerd boner ever, because I was just thinking way back to, when Kingdom Hearts was first announced, and we saw, like, Disney and Square Enix, and we just heard that, that song that got stuck in everybody's head for, like, the next week, and it was so catchy. So, Kingdom Hearts 3, we're finally getting it. I'm super happy. I can't wait to play that game. I've been looking forward to it. I love Kingdom Hearts. I love Disney. Yeah, suck it. I love Disney, alright? I got every Disney movie. I love Disney movies. If you got a problem with it, you can suck it, alright? Anyway, next up we had a couple of actually live action games. I'm going to group... Actually, before I get to that, they also showed footage for Elder Scrolls Online, which is coming out. Now, I'm not an Elder Scrolls gamer. I haven't played any of those games. I heard they're amazing. I just never got myself around to it. I'm not that big into like those big, games where you customize your character and you just go off into this big quest that can take, pretty much suck the life out of you for like the next month just playing that non-stop. So for the sake of my social life, I never brought myself down to playing the Elder Scrolls games, but I heard they're amazing, and I believe my friends. So Elder Scrolls Online, you can finally play with your friends. If you're into that, then hooray. I don't know if I'll get into it, but if I do, it looked cool. So that's what I have to say about that. Next up, we had 3 live-action gameplay footages. So, you actually saw gameplay while the person's like up on stage playing the game. First up, we had Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, which honestly, Assassin's Creed, I don't know what to think about it. On the one hand, it is fun, somewhat fun. I have the first game. That's as far as I got because honestly, I think I played the first game. I liked it. I didn't really, I never brought myself down to playing any more past that. It's like, all right, this is fun. This was fun. 2, 3, the portable games. Like, nah. I mean, I'm not that much of an Assassin's Creed fan. And honestly, you know what? Here's the problem with Ubisoft that I have. Is like as soon as they have like a big, like successful game, like they make sequels like nonstop. Like this has happened. Obviously, it happens with Call of Duty, like now releasing every year, which is might as well like they might as well just start naming like giving them years, like yearly titles, so that it can be like the Madden of shooting games. You know, like one comes out every year. They barely change anything from last year, but they just tack on like a new title, and then people pay the same amount of price to play the same game they've been playing for the 1 year. Yeah, you know it's true. Don't argue. And I feel like Assassin's Creed has sort of maybe come to be like that, because honestly, here's from the perspective of somebody who's never gone past Assassin's Creed 1, and I looked at this footage, like the actual gameplay footage, and I'm just thinking to myself, well, we did that in the first game. Like, how's this any different? I mean, it looked cool. The gameplay did keep freezing up, though, which presentation-wise was a bit of a letdown. I heard some chuckles from the audience, which is never good. But yeah, Assassin's Creed 4. You know, if you like it, then if you're an Assassin's Creed fan, you should like this game. Honestly, I'm not, so I don't know what to say. So there you go, Assassin's Creed 4. I'm not looking forward to it because, you know, I have Assassin's Creed 1. That's good enough for me. Next up was Watch Dogs, which I mentioned a lot from my PS4 reveal video, that this was one of the games that I was really looking forward to. I think it's very, very creative, because yes, it has guns, and that's a bad thing in my opinion, but just the guns are not the central point, which I wish more games would be that way. It's like, yes, you can have guns and have guns be part of the gameplay, but don't make it the main point. Don't make it like a third-person or first-person shooter and then, you know, fall back on that every other time, you know. Watchdog, at least, you know, from the footage shown, it looked freaking amazing, because you use, like, this gimmick of using your cell phone, I just can't get enough of that. Like, it's so creative, like, just all the little things that you can do. It honestly seems like it's a combination of Assassin's Creed, I can't believe I'm saying that, and Grand Theft Auto, which you would think wouldn't work, you know, because we saw some of the stealth missions in some of the Grand Theft Auto games and they just sucked. But this time, because of that little cell phone gimmick, it just makes everything so much better and so much cooler and so much more creative. So Watch Dogs, you know, it looks awesome. Can't wait to get it. I'm excited. And finally, we had a chance to see the gameplay footage of Destiny, which is the game from Bungie and Activision. I'm a huge Bungie fan, obviously coming from Halo. I love their games. I love Halo. And Destiny is definitely one of the games that I'm looking the most forward to. And we finally got to see it in action, and it looks like it honestly has nothing to do with Halo, but I just got the biggest Halo vibe, especially like Halo 3 and Halo Reach. I don't know why. But some really nice gimmicks, or I shouldn't call them gimmicks, but like nice gameplay features. Like there's like this little drone thing that flies out and he can help you out. You can upgrade your weapons on the fly, which is pretty freaking sweet. You know, the whole sci-fi setting, I'm a big fan of sci-fi settings. You know, it just looks awesome. And at one point it's like a public event or something like that, so it seemed like other people got, you know, I don't know, like, I guess this is like a feature for like online play or something like that, but other teams and stuff like that, like other players combined or came to the same place and were fighting the same monster, and it just looks awesome, and I can't wait to get it. Destiny is definitely on my top, you know, games to get in the next year. So yeah, that was it as far as all the games. The next up, the next information I'm going to go over is just like some of the specs and stuff like that, which is probably the biggest thing that came out of this whole thing, this whole PlayStation 4 E3 conference thing. First of all, holy crap, did Sony just, you know, they just crapped all over Microsoft with this one, because they started announcing some of the stuff about the PlayStation 4, some of the technical stuff, and here's the thing. This is like all in direct opposition to Xbox One, and I completely loved it. Like, I had such a big, like, nerd boner when I heard this. First of all, the PlayStation 4 will support used games, so, you know, shove it, Microsoft. It will not have any kind of, you know, DRM bull crap. So that means you can, you know, as soon as you buy your disc, that's your disc. You can do whatever the crap you want with your disc. No restrictions whatsoever. So suck it, Microsoft. You don't need no internet connectivity. Suck it, Microsoft. You don't have to be connected at least once every 24 hours. Suck it, Microsoft. And no authentication needed when you know, that means you don't have to download or, you know, install any game or whatever onto the PlayStation 4 to play it first. So, suck it, Microsoft. And next up, they talked about PlayStation Plus, and obviously if you're a PlayStation Plus member now, you know how sweet that deal is. It will carry over to the PlayStation 4. You will get free games. You will actually get like a free game at launch when you first get your PlayStation 4. So that's sweet. Am I forgetting it? Oh yeah, suck it, Microsoft. And obviously everything else that was so good about the PlayStation Network before is coming over to the PlayStation, or PlayStation 3 is coming over to the PlayStation 4 now. So suck it, Microsoft. And just if you know, if you didn't know anything else, like if this wasn't bad enough about just how much shit is on top of Microsoft right now from Sony after all this, like they finally mentioned the price for it, and it's $399 US. So suck it, Microsoft. So not only are you getting a system that has so many awesome games already, and you know, now you're getting an awesome game system that has cool games, cool content, and absolutely no restrictions like the way that like the Xbox One, and it's cheaper. Like Microsoft is done right now. Like you can't tell me that Microsoft is just not squealing right now. Like I swear to God, somebody better get fired at Microsoft because of the stupid decisions they made. And you know what? Good for Sony for stepping up and being like, well, you know what? You screwed over so many of your customers. We'll be glad to get them back. You know, yeah, we messed up with PlayStation 3 a little bit. Like, you know, we stumbled a little bit, but you know what? You screwed up this time, and we're getting all those fans back that don't want you. And you know what? Johnny Crims 2000 is one of those customers, because honestly, 360, I liked it better than PlayStation 3. This time around, I'm switching over to PlayStation 4, and I'm probably not even going to get an Xbox One at this point, because screw Microsoft. Woo, rant over. So anyway, that was the PlayStation 4 E3 conference. So many good announcements. I can't wait. You know, like so many good games, and like just this announcement of like PlayStation, you know, 4 and Sony just completely owning Microsoft was just like the cherry on top of the awesome sauce ice cream. Like I don't know, but yeah, PlayStation 4 looks to be awesome. I'm definitely getting one. Screw Microsoft and their Xbox One. They can shove it and go back to being a lousy PC maker because nobody likes them anymore. So let me all right, I'll stop seriously. I've been bashing Microsoft, but you know, they deserve it, whatever. So let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about Sony and all the announcements? What are some of your favorite games that you heard from this announcement? What are some of the games that you're looking forward to the most? And are you going to get a PS4 or not? Are you going to stick with your Xbox One? Are you going to go with the Wii U? Or are you going to get the PlayStation 4 now that you've heard all the good stuff about it? Let me know in the comment section. And as always, if you like this video, make sure to like it, comment, subscribe, and be sure to check out my other videos. I'm planning on making a Wii U and 3DS reaction video as well, so look out for that. And yeah, that's it. This has been Johnny Crims 2000. I will see you guys later. Alright, peace out. As always, if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you want to get more stuff from me. In the meantime, if you like my videos, be sure to find me on Twitter, Tumblr, Raptr, and Screwattack.com to see the other gaming-related content that I upload. Info is in the description. Who knows? Maybe you'll like my stuff. Maybe. Maybe.